Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Smart Accounting Talks. And today's topic is empowering accounting firms with digital marketing and technology for sustainable growth. And our today's guest is someone who helps accountants look at marketing or growth from a completely different lens, and that's what makes her insights all the more important. So meet Gaynor Hardy Milke. uh, she's the Chief Opportunity Officer at Charisma INK, a digital marketing, PR, and business strategy firm. Uh, Gaynor blends business strategy, transformational coaching, and B2B marketing to help accounting firms stand out and truly scale. She is also the author of several influential titles like Avoiding Apathy and the Market Ownership Method that tackle the real challenges that today's firms facing when they try to break through the noise and connect to the meaningful audience of theirs. If you have ever plugged into the coaching spaces, you will always have caught her attention. She has written this social media marketing blueprint for accountants, and in that she lays out how firms can automate lead generation, grow engagement, and convert followers into a profitable long-term clients. Today we'll go deeper, exploring how marketing and tech connect with mindset, strategy, and that spark of charisma that actually moves the needle. So Ganor, it's pleasure to have you with us on this episode of Smart Outsourcing
Well,
Talks.
well, thank
Welcome to
you.
the show.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Manoj. It's been,
yeah,
we've met each other in different conferences and in different ways. So it's a pleasure to talk with you on the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. So, Gaynor, before we go ahead, I mean, maybe a little background as to what made you come into marketing and then specialize into this accounting firm space.
Oh, well, that's a great question off the top. What drew me to marketing, I think, back when I started college a while back, not too long
Mhm.
ago, um, was really just the opportunity to be able to tell stories. I always loved, helping people tell their story, but then also I had a real passion around helping people build their dreams with businesses. And
Mhm.
then the whole consumer psychology piece of it attracted me. So my, undergrad degree was marketing and consumer behavior. And
Mhm.
then, my subsequent degrees were in more of the marketing analytics and really what we mentioned moving the needle, which is the
Mhm.
name of the show that John Higgins and I do, but it's because the whole purpose to me of marketing is to move the needle for a business. It's not just to put something out into the marketplace because it's cool or fun.
Mhm.
We have to kind of package it as cool and fun sometimes to get people's attention, but then we have to like know what the goal is for doing
Right.
anything in the first place. And I think that's
Mhm.
where, for some firms, they think marketing is this activity that they do instead
Mhm.
of a strategy that will help their business grow. And that's where I like to help people see the difference and then enact on the
Mhm.
difference. So
And
how
what
did I get
really
into
is,
the accounting space? I guess I
yeah,
should
yeah,
say that.
yeah, yeah.
I actually always loved B2B marketing, and
Mhm.
I was early in my career. I worked at an agency doing a lot of banking and fintech
Mhm.
when fintech was just getting started, and that
Okay.
was in Canada where I grew up. And then when I moved to
Mhm.
the States,
Mhm.
my first job in the United States 20 plus years ago was at Thomson Reuters.
Mhm.
Right before Thomson bought Creative Solutions, which was their you know, tax and accounting suite.
Mhm.
Thomson bought it while I was at Creative Solutions, and we went through that whole rebranding process, and that's where I got to work with a lot of accountants, tech
Mhm.
providers, people building the software that accountants use, and then
Mhm.
really the first influencers, that were
Mhm.
working with Thompson to help accountants understand how they
Mhm.
could grow their business using tech, and that's really how I fell in love with the accounting vertical. Lots
Hmm.
of lots of smart people trying to be innovative and help other businesses grow. So all of my favorite
Hmm.
things wrapped into
Hmm.
one.
Hmm. And how do you look at, what is your assessment of today's accounting firms? So how are they marketing? Are they doing enough, or
Mm.
you think that they need to kind of grow or try some different methods?
Well, I think that oftentimes accounting firms don't do anything
Hmm.
um, in terms of having a plan for marketing. And fortunately for accountants right now, they're in a really good place because there's a shortage of good
Of
accounting
course.
talent,
Yeah.
and there's a
Hmm.
lot of businesses that want to have business strategy and a good financial plan. So that's where
Hmm.
accountants, even if they don't do a lot of marketing, if they're strategic about it, they can certainly,
Hmm.
gain a lot more business. I think
Hmm.
that, for firms on the small side, they tend to overlook marketing at all or focus just on like a few tactics that they see in the consumer
Hmm.
market.
Hmm.
And marketing for accounting firms, when it comes to actually like increasing profitability and increasing the clients that they serve, that they actually want to serve, is really not a consumer marketing game. It's really
Hmm.
more both of a internal marketing strategy so that everybody in the firm understands how they can help grow the firm, and
Hmm.
then connecting on the B2B
Hmm.
side,
Hmm.
if that's where your focus is and serving businesses. On the consumer side, there's still a lot of things that an accountant can do to
Hmm.
win new clients. And I think
Hmm.
a lot of it, I know we're, obviously, Finsmart is, a tech provider. There's a lot of things that technology can help with on the marketing side, because
Sure.
really it's one thing to talk about your firm, but if you don't
Hmm.
have a really great client experience, which
Hmm.
technology helps you create, there's
Hmm.
really no point in marketing at all, because you're
Yeah.
going to lose people as soon as you
Hmm.
get them.
Hmm. Hmm. And if you look at Gaynor today's firm, and there are a lot of budding firms that are coming up, and most of these people would have started with their friends and references and stuff like that, and then they come to the stage where they feel like now it's the time that they have enough clients and they want to expand and scale and deploy some marketing tools. Okay, most of these firms resides to the word of mouth or the references. Okay, so
Hmm.
what's your advice to somebody who's just at the base and then they want to start the marketing stuff?
Yeah.
What are their few things when they they don't have even a full-fledged marketing department or maybe any team members? So how
Hmm.
an owner-driven firm can start marketing once they have a good enough base for clients?
Yeah. So I would say number
Hmm.
one is having at least like a one-page plan that
Hmm.
says this is what I'm actually trying to achieve with
Hmm.
the marketing that I do.
Hmm.
But even before that, it's having at least a one-page, call it like a manifesto of what you're trying to
Okay.
achieve with your firm,
Hmm.
so that
Hmm.
then your marketing supports that.
Hmm.
And when you're really focused on what it is you're trying to achieve with your firm, it makes the
Hmm.
marketing very focused, and it
Hmm.
makes it easy even for like a one-person firm
Hmm.
to have a big impact, especially now with social media and all of the tools where you can
Hmm.
basically like create your own
Hmm.
media and your own
Hmm.
point of view can get out into the world a lot easier.
Hmm.
Um, my biggest advice would be to know what you want out of your firm, figure out who you want to serve, and then figure out where those people get information about services like what you provide.
Hmm.
And when I say services like what an accountant provides, it's where are they going for business advice? Where are they
Hmm.
going even from like a business insurance or a cyber
mm,
insurance perspective,
mm, mm,
because that's where sort of the right client base and the referral
mm,
base can intersect. And
mm,
so if, for example, you're a firm that happens to have, 10 dental clients, and you
mm,
want more
mm,
dentists as your clients, just going and finding where dentists are getting
mm,
information from each other
mm,
and from other service providers that complement your services, like,
mm,
that's really the only marketing you would need to do,
mm,
and then
mm,
telling them how you help them specifically.
mm,
You know,
mm,
and then you can get into packaging your services against what that client segment really needs from an accountant, and that's where you
mm,
get the scale from, right?
mm,
Because, you know, if you're of course, there's like 100 different types of dental offices, they all
right.
specialize in something.
Mm,
But if
mm,
you pick out like the specific things, the specific pain points, and then show
mm,
them how you solve them,
mm,
like case studies are great. A lot of firms skip right over,
mm,
celebrating what they do for their clients every day and don't do case studies or testimonials. Those
mm,
are things that don't cost anything, but
mm,
they have a two-way beneficial effect when it comes to marketing. Is
mm,
one, they show people, like the clients they want to serve, what they
mm,
can do, what the outcome is, and
mm,
then they also create goodwill with existing clients who are going to
mm,
be more likely to feel appreciated and stay, and then
mm,
also tell their friends about
mm,
it and
mm,
share, like, oh look, my accountant did a case study on
right.
me. Cool.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense. And what are the key components in this one-page marketing manifesto you talked about?
So from a firm perspective, it's knowing who you want to serve and what
Mm.
their pain points
That is
are.
the customer segments, right?
That's the customer segment. So you're going to
Mm,
have,
mm,
what your unique selling proposition is as a
mm,
firm. So,
mm,
why would somebody in a particular client segment want to come to your
mm,
firm when
mm,
there's 140,000 other accounting firms like in
mm,
the US, and all of them
mm,
are online in some
mm,
capacity,
right.
and can touch these potential
Mm,
clients. So
mm,
there's your USP, your unique selling proposition. Then
mm,
there's your target market. And I usually say to
mm,
firms, I'm a big proponent of, if not niching, at least segmenting, because you can't
okay.
have one message that
Mm,
fits all. You really
yeah.
can't. Even if you're
Mm,
serving small businesses, you're
mm,
serving a certain type of small business, even if it's
mm,
not a particular vertical, it's a particular
mm.
type of person.
So what is the difference between the niche and the customer segmentation?
So what I would say is a niche is really committing to serving a certain industry,
Mm,
or like very specific type of service. So
mm,
we have a client that only does cost reporting for home health care. And
okay.
so that's a very specific service niche,
Mm,
because
mm,
that is for like assisted living
mm,
centers, and they're required to submit Medicare cost reports
mm,
every year. And
mm,
it's a very specialized type of accounting. So that would be a
mm,
niche. And
mm,
then another niche would be, we talked about dental practices, but
mm,
a customer segment would be within a niche, or
mm,
a very like specific customer demographic. Like, I only work with software startup
mm,
founders who
mm, mm,
also have like 3 homes in Miami or something like that.
mm,
So
mm,
really segmenting out it might be a segment within the dental niche of like
mm,
endodontists or
mm,
something like
mm,
that. And so
mm,
it might sound like getting that specific is going to exclude all types of,
mm, mm,
clients, but there's nothing to say that you can't have more than one niche or one
mm,
customer segment that you're serving.
mm,
but
Hmm.
the best niche or segment is, we always say like an inch wide and a mile deep. It's
Hmm.
sort of, I always use Charisma Inc., like my
Hmm.
company, as an example.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
our niche is tax and accounting because that's,
Okay.
all we do. And then
Hmm.
within that, we have different segments that we serve. So we have the, tech providers, we have
Okay.
influencers, and then we have
Hmm.
firm owners. So those are
Okay.
like our customer
Hmm.
segments.
Hmm. And again, or when when generally people start, they start with whoever they get the client, right? I mean,
Right.
so when is the time when they have to start thinking about whether should I go horizontal and address whoever comes on the plate, or I start looking at any niche or a particular customer segment that I would address. How do you make that shift, or and when do you make that shift? Importantly.
Well, I think you can do it at any time, really.
Mm.
And when you're starting a firm, like some firms that we've worked with have said, "I'm going to start a firm, and I'm going to do e-commerce accounting." Like that's
Mm.
all we're
Okay.
going to do. Or, if you're kind of like 2 years in and you
Mm.
start to see patterns that,
Mm.
and the pattern can be something about yourself too. It's like,
Mm.
I hate, serving race car drivers
Mm.
who,
Mm.
are have all of these like different components to their accounting. Or, some firms are like, we don't
Mm.
like businesses that have inventory. Or some firms
Mm.
love, physical retail shops or restaurants. And
Mm.
so if you
Mm.
find that you're getting a lot of referrals from a particular segment
Mm.
that you actually like
Mm.
serving and you can make money doing so, then that would be a good time to
Mm.
start thinking, since I'm working
Mm.
with all of these restaurant owners who
Mm.
only do breakfast and we really like it,
Mm.
then that could be
Mm.
a whole segment, but we don't want all of our eggs in one basket. So I think we'll
Mm.
also do
Do
e-commerce,
more. Yeah.
so
Mm.
that you can have more than one niche. And I think
Mm.
this is, we talked a little bit at the beginning about like the mindset and the
Mm.
psychology. It's
Mm.
like you're only limited by your own limited
Mm.
way of thinking about what
Mm.
your firm does and what
Mm.
who your firm can serve, because
Mm.
the most important thing I would think in today's like modern accounting world is that people don't want to get burned out, but they
Mm.
want to be making money,
Mm.
and they want to do it as efficiently as possible. So,
Mm.
mapping out like, who do I want to serve? What services can I provide to them that are very specific to them? And then what tools
Mm.
do I need to be able to deliver that efficiently? Like, those
Mm.
are the three parts I think of your
Mm.
marketing plan that
Mm.
are like fundamental. And then the
Mm.
fourth piece is where the rubber meets the road, and that's, where do you find these people that you want to serve
Mm.
if you want more of
Mm.
them? And some of
Mm.
it comes from the people you're already serving, that you're
Mm.
in your centers of influence, so people who can
Mm.
refer to you. And then
Mm.
the other part is figuring out where they're getting their information. So if they're
Mm.
going to a specific conference, then you might want to think about
Mm.
attending that. You don't need to
Mm.
like have a trade show booth or anything like that. You can
Mm.
just
Mm.
come and immerse yourself in the issues that are affecting them that you could
Mm.
help them solve. And
Sure.
that's really, I mean, to me, the backbone. If you
Mm.
know your customer very intimately, you're going
Mm.
to know how to reach them and what you need to reach them with.
Mm. Mm.
And
And once you make the manifesto, okay, and then you start kind of going from there. Okay, maybe you have just defined the customer segment, your niche, where you're going to go. So how do you get started, and how do you deploy these tools, technology? So what are the simpler ones to start with?
well, I would say that social media is an easy place to get started. What I
Hmm.
would say is that you need to be very strategic about it, because you can spend a lot of time and a lot of resources on social media and get like nothing out of it.
mm,
If you
mm,
don't know where your audience lives on social media, like for
mm,
example, there was a client that we worked with, and I mean they're working with dentists. Well,
mm,
dentists are not really looking for their financial information like
mm,
all day, every day on TikTok. Some of them
mm,
might be,
mm,
but are they, looking for resources maybe from like a dental association? Is there
mm,
some content that you could work with the dental association, like a local
mm,
dental association, to
mm,
you know do a blog or some kind of educational content, and then they put your social media out, or
mm,
you're sharing things from that dental association on your
mm,
own feed, because then that
mm,
makes it look like you're actually entrenched in their world, as opposed
mm,
to
mm,
just putting out information about your firm that's kind of
mm,
generic. So
mm, mm,
it's being able to use the social media platform is just
mm,
another channel. I think
mm,
people
mm,
tend, so I would say, if you're business to business, LinkedIn and YouTube.
mm,
And the reason why I say YouTube is because it is so powerful to be able to make your own content, even if it's like short videos
mm,
that can live on a platform that you can kind of semi own, and that helps
mm,
with SEO. And also, now we have to worry about, getting found in AI
mm,
engines as
mm,
well.
mm,
So, you can utilize like a YouTube platform, share it onto LinkedIn, what you're
mm,
creating, and
mm,
have more impact. And then
mm,
also,
mm,
you're starting to become a recognized expert in whatever you're speaking about. So,
mm, mm,
the I would say also with social media, if people, choose to use that,
mm,
consistency is
mm,
everything, right? So,
mm.
unfortunately, the algorithm in Oh, we're
Yeah.
back. Yeah, I must just have a spotty internet
So
today. Yeah, so we
yeah.
want
So you were
to kind of,
speaking about the algorithm. Yeah. Mm,
yeah. So the algorithm on social media is not going to allow you to really be like, you're not going to be top of the internet unless
mm,
you're by paying for it or
mm,
pumping out a lot of content in a topic that a lot of people are interested in. So
mm,
for like the average firm,
mm,
making connections on social
mm,
media is probably just as important as posting on
mm,
social media. So I
mm,
always say to firms, connect with your existing clients, connect
mm,
with your referral sources, and
mm,
then put out the content so that it can
mm,
get into the networks that you actually care about reaching.
mm,
So spend as much time connecting on social media as you do
mm,
content producing. A
mm,
lot of people are just like content producing, and then they have
mm,
fewer fewer people who the content is going to reach right off the bat. So
mm,
I would
mm,
say social media is a great place to start. Your firm
mm,
website, as
mm,
soon as somebody is even remotely interested in doing business with you, they're going to probably come to
mm,
your website,
mm,
if not your social, like LinkedIn or something like that first.
mm,
So
mm,
make sure that your website is speaking to the people you
mm,
want to serve,
mm,
and that you have a way to capture their information so that you
mm,
can be
mm,
proactive, follow up with them. And
mm,
so capturing, their information might mean that you have a ebook about, a
mm,
specific pain point on a service that you can provide. So,
mm,
restaurants that are suffering from poor cash flow, you could have some kind of checklist, what you need to know to keep your cash flow,
mm,
healthy in the restaurant.
Hmm.
industry.
Hmm.
And then to get
Hmm.
that checklist,
Hmm.
there's a
Hmm.
form that people can fill out on your
Hmm.
website. That's
Hmm.
something that's like very easy to
Easy. Yeah.
do.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can share that on social media so that
Hmm.
people then come to the website, fill
Hmm.
that out, and then their contact information is in a database that you can then use to make
Hmm.
contact. And
Hmm.
so like
Hmm.
that's really like a three-step, pretty
Hmm.
easy process is to,
Hmm.
create some kind of, we call it a lead magnet,
Hmm.
share it out on social to the relevant
Hmm.
audience,
Hmm.
and then when people do take advantage of it, you can
Hmm.
contact them,
Hmm.
and even just
Sure.
like when you're getting started, a simple email like, hey, I
Hmm.
noticed that you downloaded our checklist,
Hmm.
here's my link if you'd like to schedule a
Hmm.
call and follow
Hmm.
up with
Hmm.
them, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And when we talk about the digital marketing today, a lot of platforms are available. Okay, maybe social media, email campaigns. There are a lot of tools, technology, everything available. But all requires a solid base and contribution in terms of getting a content, right? So
Yeah.
how do you go about building the content, right? Now, of course, the now artificial intelligence really helps to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your take on to how to begin on the content and how much is enough?
How much is enough? Is it ever enough? It seems that way. What I would say first off with the content is to know what your purpose is in
Hmm.
producing it, and
Sure.
also know, unfortunately, I say like most people are scrolling, not taking deep dives these days, until
Hmm.
they really have like a pain point that
Hmm.
they need to dive deeper on. So, as
Hmm.
far as what to create, I always say to firms that are just getting started in like trying to attract more clients with content, think about the like frequently asked questions that you get all the time
Okay.
from,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, the type of client that you like to serve. What
Hmm.
are they always asking you, or what are like things that you do for them that they're just like, wow, that's
Hmm.
amazing, and you're like, oh well, that's just what I do every day.
Hmm.
And so looking at FAQs, those are something that
Hmm.
are really easy to create like a short video series with. So
Hmm.
you could say like, here's the top 10 financial issues that most dental practices
Hmm.
face when they're starting out, or
Hmm.
name your niche, and then figure out what kind of questions they typically ask, and
Hmm.
think about. I always like to think about content too as what is the what is the journey that you want people to go on.
Hmm.
So when they first come into contact with you, it's
Hmm.
usually because they're starting to have questions in their mind. So
Hmm.
what are the key questions that you usually get when you first meet your ideal client?
Hmm.
And then once you've kind of answered those, you can go into some content on like what your value proposition is. Like then
Hmm.
this is where you can highlight. I love client case studies. So that's
Hmm.
another like really key piece of content. So we've got
Hmm.
FAQs, and then like it's show and tell, right? It's
Hmm.
we've helped people just like you,
Hmm.
and here's exactly how we've done that. And
Hmm.
a success story can be like a one page like
Hmm.
download, or it
Hmm.
could be, we've had firms interview their
Hmm.
clients and just talk about what the outcome was of working with them, because we want to
Hmm.
say it's not so much that you've worked with them, it's when we started working together,
Hmm.
they were facing this, and
Hmm.
then we did X, Y, and Z, and their better outcome was this.
Hmm.
So it's kind of showing, if you work with us, you'll get this great result.
Hmm.
So, that success story is good because it helps reassure people that you're the
Yeah.
right choice
Hmm.
for them. And
Hmm.
then you can move into, and in order to get this outcome, these are the services that we
Hmm.
recommend to people like
Hmm.
you. And
Hmm.
that's where you can say, would you be interested in a proposal? This is,
Hmm.
typically what we
Hmm.
provide to, dental
Hmm.
clients.
Hmm.
And so those are like some very specific pieces of content. It's
Hmm.
not, it's subtly showing people that you're an expert in solving their problems,
Sure.
and
Hmm.
then leading them to the
Hmm.
point where it's, answering their most relevant questions. They get
Hmm.
in their head, oh, it seems like they could help me. You
Hmm.
show them that you can help them with that success story, and
Hmm.
then you can show them exactly how, because
Hmm.
people like certainty and they want
Hmm.
to be able to say, if I spend the money and the time to
Hmm.
work with you,
Hmm.
I am going
Hmm.
to get what I'm actually looking for here.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Sure. Yeah.
it's, yeah.
And
That's,
coming to this, spreading the content around, and you talked about FAQs, case studies, success stories, and all that. Um, Coming to the next subject is that how much uh, packaging pays for it. So what is the importance of packaging your services, and how we should
mhm.
do that?
Well, I think packaging your services, as I just mentioned, is really important
Hmm.
because one, people don't have the attention span to try to figure out how you can help them. They just don't.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
two, it makes it very easy to both get them started and then to add
Hmm.
on to their services. So you can
Hmm.
say, this
Hmm.
is, you can tell them what you recommend that they do, and it
Hmm.
gives them like something that they can immediately say, you know what, that's what I want. It's like taking something
Hmm.
off the shelf at, Target or wherever. It's making this what seems like a very nebulous service sometimes. Like I think
Hmm.
I should say I did a session for a podcast not long ago, and somebody asks the question, how can we sell CAS services when the definition is so vague? And it's like, you need to define what CAS services are for you in your
Hmm.
firm. And it's just like
Hmm.
any service in an accounting firm. You need to define, if somebody says they want CAS in your firm,
Hmm.
what does
Hmm.
that entail? And like
Hmm.
bullet point it out so that
Hmm.
internally you know what it is, because you
Hmm.
can't tell somebody who might be interested in buying it what it is if you don't know.
Hmm.
So that's where I think, even if you don't put prices on
Hmm.
your packages like online, you should
Hmm.
have an idea because you've done the math on the back
Hmm.
end.
Hmm.
Really, for this type of client that I'm talking to, this
Hmm.
is the service offering that they need, and I think I could sell to them.
Hmm.
And then you give them that package,
Hmm.
and you can also, of course, customize them.
Hmm.
As you go down the proposal route if you need to, but
Hmm.
you can't really sell something to somebody that you don't know yourself what it is. And so
Hmm.
that's why I'm a big proponent of, even if you don't have like service packages on your website and you don't promote them, you should
Hmm.
at least internally know
Hmm.
what the service offering package is that a
Sure.
particular type of client wants,
Hmm.
because then
Hmm.
you can also upsell. So,
Hmm.
and then your team, if you have
Hmm.
one, can also
Hmm.
upsell because they know
Sure.
how to
Hmm.
recognize the type of
Hmm.
client that a specific type of
Hmm.
package would fit.
Hmm. Hmm. Sure. Yeah. And once you have all these components in place, so content, some of the digital marketing initiatives, and packaging and all that. Now, how do you tell your story? So how do you create a brand story?
Well, that's actually the easy part, really, because and I say it's the easy part because I am a big proponent of Story Brand. If anybody's read that book by
Hmm.
Donald Miller, just
Hmm.
for no other reason than the fact that the whole philosophy is about putting yourself in the position of being a guide, and
Hmm.
your client or potential client is the hero of the story. And so
Hmm.
when you talk about how you can help your client and how you've helped
Hmm.
other clients, your brand story immediately starts to take shape.
Hmm.
Because if you're the accountant who, always helps restaurants increase their
Hmm.
cash flow, it's a
Hmm.
lot easier story to
Hmm.
tell and
Hmm.
to keep telling the same story, right?
Hmm.
So it's, the whole story brand arc is really the
Hmm.
guy meets the hero who's not the hero at that point, who has a
Hmm. Hmm.
problem. They help
Hmm.
them solve the problem, and then
Hmm.
the client hero gets a
Hmm.
benefit, and they've
Hmm.
done something great for themselves. So
Hmm.
what is it where what's the story that you can tell around
Hmm.
how you help businesses or individuals either like
Hmm.
in their financial life or their business do
Hmm.
better? And so
Hmm.
if you want to be the firm that's we actually had a firm that their URL was around like beaches, and they were in Florida, and it fit
Hmm.
because they were part of a really tight knit beach community, and so they
Hmm.
talked. Their whole brand was around that like beach community and all of the like ways that they helped make it stronger. So
Hmm. Hmm.
if you really think about what value it is that you provide to your clients, then your story
Hmm.
comes from there. And I, in the market ownership method book, talk about no more wheezing. And the wheezing is, instead of talking about we do this and we do that at our firm,
Hmm.
it's all
Hmm.
about the client, and it's you are
Hmm.
experiencing this, or as a
Hmm.
dental professional, you've got better things to
Hmm.
do than you know,
Hmm.
doing bookkeeping. So telling the story from your customer point of view is probably the most
Hmm.
important thing in developing a brand.
Hmm. Hmm. Sure. Yeah.
And I
And
would also say being consistent with it as well.
okay. Hmm.
Just
Hmm.
when you're getting tired of telling your story, your audience is just understanding it.
Hmm. Hmm. Sure. Yeah. And today, a lot of these tools and technologies are coming into the place. So if I have to ask you as an expert, what are the top 5 to 6 tools in marketing that firm owners can use? So which one would that be?
I would say some social media aggregator, so that you can be on multiple platforms and schedule your
Hmm.
posts. So like a
Hmm.
Hootsuite. I
Hmm.
actually am
What's
a
sweet? Hmm.
so Hootsuite is a good one. I like actually Canva also has a social media aggregator in it, so you can
Okay.
actually create your social posts in Canva and then share them out to your networks.
Hmm.
So I would say the second tool I would say is Canva, because
Hmm.
everybody can use templates, and even if
Right.
you're not going to do it as the firm owner, you
Hmm.
can have an intern, or you could have an
Hmm.
assistant. You set up some
Hmm.
templates and then
Hmm.
and have that ready. So
Hmm.
that would be another one. Some type of
Hmm.
CRM. Um, I
Hmm.
I am a again. I'll name drop that I actually still like Constant Contact, even though
Hmm.
I'm an Infusionsoft partner. I do like
Hmm.
Constant Contact for smaller firms and firms that are just looking to do kind of like the basic automations with email. You can
Hmm.
also, I think, schedule social media through there, but it's also like
Hmm.
reasonably priced.
Hmm.
MailChimp is another one. but you do need to have some kind of, I would say, marketing or sales CRM outside of like your tax software. So, tax or
Sure.
accounting software. Um,
Hmm.
and then I guess other things I would definitely say some kind of video editing software.
Hmm.
And when I say
Hmm.
that, you can do it in Canva, but I do think
Hmm.
that the power of video, because it's both gives your firm like a human face, it's real time, and it
Hmm.
also is great for SEO. So some
Hmm.
kind of video editor, or I think you guys are using a podcast
Hmm.
recording
Hmm.
software,
Hmm.
something like
Hmm.
that. Um, and then I guess some kind of AI engine that you like to work with.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I say that knowing that people are going to use AI engines, and I think they're good to get started. I just
Hmm.
also would caution that part of the benefit of using AI is to help you
Hmm.
kind of get the framework of your messaging down, and then you
Hmm.
use your insights and knowledge to infuse the story of your
Hmm.
firm and your own personality. And you can train it over time. Just
Hmm.
know that a lot of times you can tell that AI is being used. So
Hmm.
don't just automatically take what you get out of ChatGPT and like put it in a
Hmm.
blog on your website. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the other point to be made about AI engines is that one, accuracy. Obviously, if you're
Hmm.
writing about a technical tax topic,
Hmm.
probably you need to
Hmm.
check your references. And then
Hmm.
also copyright. So you don't actually own the content that comes out of these AI engines. So you
Hmm.
are technically supposed to attribute it to whatever entity you use.
Hmm. Yeah.
So those,
Okay.
those would be my top five.
Hmm. Sure. So, Gaynor, as we come to the end of this podcast, one last question for our viewers is that if you have to give top, one or two tips for firm owners who are just getting started on the marketing, what would that be?
Yeah. Definitely know what you want out of your firm. Know the clients that you want to serve. And when I say that, knowing goes both to like who you want to serve, but then also who they are as well, so that
Hmm.
you can then go and find out where they are getting their information from and the media that they
Hmm.
like to use to get that information. And I would
Hmm.
also say find some good referral sources as well,
Right.
because
Hmm.
it just creates that circle of momentum. And
Hmm.
then from there, you'll be so confident in telling your story that it will be easy to use the marketing
Hmm.
tools to get the
Hmm.
story out there as well.
Hmm.
So I always say
Hmm.
less is more as well.
Hmm.
I'd rather
Hmm.
see people do three things well than try
Hmm.
to like be on seven
More
social
things. Hmm.
media channels
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm. Sure. So thank you so much, Gaynor, for your valuable inputs. I think we covered a lot in a short span. So right from brand building to content to digital marketing to tools and technology, and to start with, I think it was a great advice that to start with a marketing manifesto, one pager, right? So
Yeah.
I think those are the key takeaways for today. So thank you for your valuable time, and thank you for being on this podcast of Smart Outsourcing Talks. I'm sure that we'll have more collaborative initiatives like this. Thank you
Yes.
so
Well,
much.
thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.